This will probably be the last Christmas joke until next November. Are you ready? What is the single best Christmas present in the whole world? Answer, a broken drum. You just can't beat it. That's awful. God's Little Instruction Book has something that you have to think about today. This is not easy. You have to really think it. It is possible to be too big for God to use, but never too small for God to use. Proverbs 29 says, "A man's pride brings him low, but a man of lowly spirit gains honor." I believe that. Lamentations 22 verse 6 says this, "Teach the child according to its scheme of learning." In the old days, we were taught, spare the rod and spoil the child. I'll either beat it out of him or I'll beat it into him. We look at that very differently today. We realize that a child from his or her earliest age has developed his or her own scheme of learning. We no longer feel that a child who may differ with us, its older in structure, is necessarily a recalcitrant or problem child. In our school systems, we hear again and again and again the complaint, "My child is bored." Many years ago, my late wife was called to school. Our son, who was a kindergarten student at the time, seemed always to put his head on the desk, completely oblivious to what's going on in the classroom. The teacher was convinced that our child was retarded. My wife came to class and she asked the teacher, "What's the problem?" And the teacher said, "Well, look at him. His head's on the desk. He isn't paying any attention." And my wife asked the question, "What are you studying today?" And the teacher said, "We're doing very important work. We're studying our colors and our numbers." My wife replied, "My son has known his colors and his numbers for the last 3 years. How many times does he have to take a repeat course?" Teach the child according to his or her own way. That's very important for us to grasp. I've raised this question when I've dealt with the curricula of many schools, according to our religious books. How many times do our children have to study the same set of details for our sacred days? At what point do we teach them the true meaning of the day rather than details about the day? It's amazing how ready many of our children are for the deeper lessons. Something for us to think about. Let's be at prayer. Oh God, your name is majestic. We come before you this day as we close out January, and we ask, oh Lord, that you be with us and sustain us. Help us to be cognizant and aware of our children and their learning. Be with us. Thank you. Amen. Go in God. Amen.